Title is Labo Stratum Death Game. All right, off the bat, we got Dr. Vegapunk standing what seems like to be in front of the Gorosei. Now, these five dudes actually look legit. I'm actually wondering if these guys have some type of transformations or some type of power play. We know that these guys are different at this point. I mean, the one guy with the sword, he reminds me of the Zoro of the group. And then you got the rest of them, the Sanji. This guy looks like the Sanji. He's pretty tall. You got Brook. Kind of similar to, if you really think about it, the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy being Vegapunk, you got Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, Frankie, and maybe even Usopp. Isn't that kind of weird? That will cover all the male roles in the One Piece, the Straw Hats Pirates, except for Chopper, of course. So the chapter actually starts out. So somebody has already infiltrated Egghead Island, and they don't know what the hell's going on because somebody's being sabotaged in the laboratory. Systems are going down, systems are going up, allowing free movement and access in and out of this laboratory. Now, the question is, why? Why would somebody want this to happen other than Vegapunk? Who will want this to happen other than Vegapunk? If he could control everything, why would he want to leave with Luffy and Emperor of the Sea and become the government's most wanted person, even though he knew they were coming to kill him anyway? So this whole thing that Shaka is doing, the manipulating behind everything that's going on, it simply don't make sense because why would Shaka, who is pretty much on the government's hit list, put himself out in the open to be sabotaged and most likely killed? And that includes all the satellites, including the real Vegapunk satellite himself, which they call him Dr. Vegapunk, of course. So Shaka being the suspect in this matter. If you think about the game of Among Us, because this is what we have here, we have Among Us on Egghead Island. And if you think about it, why would Dr. Vegapunk be the one who wants to kill himself and want the Navy to kill him as well? So it makes no sense that he's sabotaging his own laboratory to get himself killed. So it's not Shaka, unless there has been some way, somehow, somebody has infiltrated even the satellites of Vegapunks themselves and replace Shaka with maybe a avatar of their own. Maybe it's some devil fruit power, some weird, quirky devil fruit power that allows somebody to take control or access of somebody's emotions and behaviors. And maybe Shaka is actually dormant and nobody knows other than the person who's controlling Shaka. So that'd be the only way that he could actually be the mole in the group or the assassin among the Egghead Island. So we're moving on, and we see Dr. Vegapunk is watching the transfer of the snails, and he sees all the snails going out one by one. So they're losing camera footage throughout Egghead Island, and somebody is in charge. Somebody is leading this charge, and this makes me wonder because right here we see a figure of them grabbing one of the transponder snails. You see a figure. You really can't really tell exactly what it is. However, there is a resemblance of a hand, and it could be somebody possibly from the Blackbeard Pirates. I would like to think that the Blackbeard Pirates would be the ones who are be after Luffy at this point, or everything that Luffy is after. I would like to think the Blackbeard Pirates are pretty much scattered throughout the new world right now, trying to get as much information, as many poneglyphs as they can. So however they can by any means necessary. And they just seem like the pirates that want the tactical and strategical advantage over everybody. So it's not all about because this has actually happened, I can't really tell if Luffy is hearing people through his that ability he has, that weird ability he has when he can hear these sea creatures or any these mythical creatures, or if it's just him actually hearing people through those headphones. But we all know that Luffy doesn't use tools. He's a very intuitive person. So I'm thinking more along the lines that he's actually using his observation hockey and he's hearing people, but he's mistaking it for that he's wearing his headphones. And if we all know about Luffy, was just a goofy dude. And he can sometimes mistake his natural abilities for something that's external in use, like such as a tool, like how he ran around Wano with a legendary sword, punching people with it in his hands, thinking he was actually using a sword, but he's actually still using his fist. So we don't know. Or like the context on this scene was a little bit ambiguous, and I really wanted to know if Luffy was actually using observation hockey versus what he was just using, was he just regularly using these headphones and hearing people? So that'd be another interesting point. So the Strand Pirates disperse into groups and they're looking for satellite Dr. Vegapunk. However, in the command room, you have Shaka, who is pretty much trying to figure out what the hell is going on. All these satellites, these guys are just pretty much disappearing. And all his satellites are he's losing communication with these guys. Something's going on with the communication systems, and they are not able to speak with each other, and they can't really accurately see what's going on. So they're kind of like blind almost. Then he finally tells Luffy to come on over, and Luffy thinks that he broke his headphones, but he finally tells Luffy to come over, and he tells him to look at this because someone is actually sabotaging the cameras and the communication links between the Vegapunks. Now, Stussy on the other hand, how do I feel about her being being a part of the Rocks Pirates, and now she's a clone, one that Dr. Vegapunk created. Why? I don't know. But she has this ability. I guess she's like a vampire where she can put people to sleep with a bite, a paralysis type of intoxin chemical that she can emit from her fangs. So that's pretty interesting to know if that's the real Stissy's power, if that's what she really truly had, because that would make the Rocks Pirates very dangerous if you had somebody who could infiltrate and put basically a whole group of pirates to sleep, or a whole the enemies to sleep, just by simply biting them while they're standing up. Then you have one of the Seraphims who pops up and actually put York into she uses the middle abilities and makes York into a stone statue. Now, what could actually be going on? So now we know that something is up. Something's obviously up. Because Dr. Vegapunk has the highest authority when it comes to the Seraphims. However, they're not listening to Dr. Vegapunk's orders. So the next person in the line is who? The Gorosei. So this leads me to believe that one of the Gorosei are actually is on the island or has made it to the island. How? I don't know, but there has to be some type of ability where you can transport somebody a long distance to a certain point. Now, what ability that we know has that? Kuma's ability can do that. We know that he has the ability to transport people with the pawpaw fruit. Now, could that be what Kuma's ability actually is? Does his abilities or him being that special makes him allow him to use the pawpaw fruit that to that extent? That would make sense. That would make sense. Because I don't believe that everybody is capable of like, using a devil fruit's power to its full extent, like as some users, especially if they have a special race. I don't think there never be a never ever be another dragon who can use the fish fruit like Kaido did, because Kaido was an org, and not only was Kaido actually like originally or naturally strong, but it only showed when he transformed and or went into his hybrid form with the fish fruit. So I think in this case, this is what made Kuma special, because he was able to use that pauper fruit like nobody else, just simply because of his strength and how he naturally possessed these techniques or skills that he needed to use it. Now going back to York. York is she's back, she's turned to stone, and like I said, I think the Gorosei is on this island. It makes no sense why they would not be obeying Dr. Vegapunk's order, especially if they are there and Dr. Vegapunk's is giving the order. But Zoro and Luffy are about to go into battle, and the Seraphims are out in full force. And now Luffy, Zoro, or even Shaka is just getting ready to go into battle. And Shaka is simply trying to stop Kuma and Mihawk Seraphims from attacking them. That's going to be hard to do, simply because these guys are strong. These are supposed to be the strongest beings in the world. And the Navy has created these monsters. Dr. Vegapunk has created these monsters who he doesn't even have access to at this point, because they kind of like stripped him of his titles. So now it's in trouble. Shit's about to be looks it's not looking good for the Striped Pirates and Dr. Vegapunk, of course. Hold on, guys. On last scene you have Luffy and Zoro, of course, saving Lucy and Kaku, which is pretty much this is like the epiphany of what it means to have double standard. These guys went from worst enemies to now I might have to fight side by side with you. And that's gonna be interesting to say. But I don't know, guys. You tell me what you think. Do you think that one of the Gorsei members is on Egghead Island calling the shots for the Seraphims? I don't know. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Also, if you like this video like this and you like content like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for me. And go ahead and join the Dream Team. I appreciate you guys for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.